I used to believe that fairy tales were real, that if you loved someone deeply enough, life would reward you. I thought I had it all: the perfect man, the perfect wedding, the perfect future, but I was wrong. So, painfully wrong. My name is Rachel. I'm 28, from Raleigh, North Carolina, and I married Ethan Thomas on a warm Sunday in May. Everything was perfect: the flowers, the music, the way he looked at me as I walked down the aisle. He whispered, "You're my forever." And I believed him. He was charming, kind, almost too good to be true. But I didn't question it. I was too busy being happy. We had planned our honeymoon to Italy, flights booked, bags half packed. The day after the wedding, I woke up early. I was so excited. It was our first morning as husband and wife. But the bed next to me was empty. At first, I thought he'd gone to grab coffee or surprise me with breakfast. I waited and waited. By m, I started to worry. His phone went straight to voicemail. His suitcase was gone, but his wedding ring was on the nightstand. I told myself there had to be a logical explanation. Maybe an emergency? Maybe he'd be back? I called his parents, friends. No one knew anything. The hotel security showed no sign of forced exit. He just left. The police launched a missing persons report that evening. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't eat. They asked if we had any arguments. We didn't. Not a single fight. Not even cold feet. And then came the theories. Maybe he got scared. Maybe he had another life. Maybe he's dead. I didn't want to believe any of them. I spent the next weeks clinging to hope, checking hospitals, sending messages, scrolling through news sites. I felt like a widow, only worse, because there was no closure, just silence. Everyone told me to move on, to let go, but something inside me wouldn't rest. I knew Ethan, or at least I thought I did, and men like him don't just vanish, unless they're hiding something. And then, 3 months later, I got a message that would turn my entire world upside down. 3 months. That's how long it had been since Ethan vanished. 3 months of questions without answers, nights without sleep, and whispers behind my back. I was at my lowest. I had deleted our wedding photos from Instagram. I returned my wedding dress to the closet, like burying a part of myself. I even started therapy, but nothing filled the gaping wound in my chest. Then, it happened. At 2:17 a.m. on a Thursday night, my phone lit up. A blocked number. I almost didn't answer, but something told me to. I picked up. A woman's voice. She was quiet, hesitant. "Is this Rachel?" I froze. "Yes." "Who is this?" She didn't say her name. Instead, she whispered, "I know where your husband is." My heart stopped. I stood up from bed, hands shaking. "Where is he? Is he okay? Who are you?" But she didn't answer. She just said, "He's not who you think he is. He's living under a different name now, in Charleston." I thought you deserved to know. Then the line went dead. I stood there, paralyzed, phone still to my ear. Was it a prank? A cruel joke? But something in her voice felt real. Tired, sad, like she knew pain too. I didn't sleep that night. I kept repeating the word Charleston in my mind, like a mantra. By sunrise, I was in my car, driving to South Carolina with only a coffee and adrenaline in my system. Charleston was a big city, but I didn't care. I went to every hotel, every cafe. I showed his photo to strangers. Most shook their heads. One man thought he'd seen him at a marina. It took me 2 days of searching, 2 days of hope rising and dying over and over again. Then, on the 3rd day, I saw him, standing near a boat, wearing sunglasses, laughing, with a woman by his side, holding a child. And not just any woman. She was pregnant. And he kissed her, right there, on the forehead, the same way he used to kiss me. I couldn't breathe. I watched from across the street, knees trembling. My world blurred as if I were drowning. I wanted to scream, run to him, slap him, beg for answers. But I didn't move, because I realized something in that moment. He had a whole new life, and I was never a part of it. Or worse, maybe I was never supposed to be. I stood there for what felt like hours, hiding behind the corner of a marina shack. watching the man I married, the man who vanished without a word, living a new life, a woman, a child, and another on the way. I finally gathered the courage to walk toward them. My steps were shaky, but something had snapped in me. I wasn't the abandoned wife anymore. I was a woman who deserved the truth. I crossed the dock. He turned to laugh at something she said, and saw me. His face turned white. "Rachel?" His voice was barely a whisper. The woman beside him looked confused. "Who's she, Ethan?" "Ethan," she said. Ethan. That wasn't even his real name. To me, he was Matthew Harris. I looked him in the eyes. "You want to tell her? Or should I?" He panicked, stumbled over his words. "Rachel, listen." "No, you listen. I am your wife. You married me in Georgia, remember? You disappeared 2 weeks later like I was nothing." The woman clutched the child closer. "You're married to her?" Ethan Matthew, whatever his real name was, didn't speak. I pulled out my phone and showed her the wedding photo. Me in white, him smiling. She gasped. Tears welled up in her eyes. Then she dropped the bomb. "I'm his wife too." My stomach turned. "What?" She nodded. "We got married 4 years ago, before he ever met you." He looked like a cornered animal. And then it all came out. He had 2 identities, 2 lives, one in Charleston, one in Atlanta, 2 wives, 2 wedding rings, 2 lies. He was living off our money. My money, her money, and worse, the child wasn't even his. She confessed, sobbing, that she thought he was a single man. He promised her a future, safety, family. I wasn't the only one he betrayed. But here's the thing. She knew. She knew he was disappearing for weeks at a time. She suspected something but never confronted it. And now, 2 broken women stood face to face, while he ran. Yes, he ran. Right there, in front of both of us. Jumped in his truck and sped off. No apology, no explanation, just tires screeching and smoke in the air. I stood on that dock, staring at the dust cloud left by his truck. Silence. The other woman, Emily, just sank to her knees, holding her child like a shield from the truth. I sat next to her, no words, just quiet rage building between us. And then I said the words that changed everything. "Let's destroy him." She looked at me through red eyes. At first, she thought I was joking, but I wasn't. We weren't going to cry over this man anymore. We were going to burn everything he built with cold, beautiful precision. We started digging. Credit reports, bank accounts, social security records. Turns out, he wasn't just a liar. He was a criminal. He'd taken out loans in both our names, forged signatures, opened fake businesses to launder money. He used our addresses, our documents, and we were the ones paying the price. I had over $42,000 in debt I didn't even know existed. Emily, nearly $60,000. We were ruined, but we weren't going down quietly. We filed reports with the police. Fraud, identity theft, bigamy. We sent all the evidence, the marriage certificates, the bank statements. We found other women too. One in North Carolina, another in Ohio. 4 wives. 4. Then, the media got hold of the story. Hearts broken, wallets emptied. The man who married for money. Our faces blurred, but our voices heard. And suddenly, he couldn't hide anymore. The FBI got involved. Apparently, he'd been under investigation before but kept slipping away. Not this time. 1 month later, they found him, living under a new name in Nevada, trying to charm yet another woman into marrying him. He was arrested, finally, like the con artist he was. We were asked to testify. And you know what? I wore my wedding dress to the courtroom. Emily wore hers too. Not for drama, for symbolism. To show the world that this man didn't just break hearts. He built entire lives and burned lives for sport. It took years to clean up the financial mess. It took even longer to trust again. But I found peace in the strangest place. In sisterhood with the woman he tried to replace me with. Emily and I, we started a podcast, The Wife Files, where women tell their stories. Unfiltered, our pain became power. And that man, he's rotting in a cell with nothing but silence and steel bars, exactly where he belongs.